Hey guys, it's Bro You Whack, and I kind of find it funny how a couple of days ago, people were crying to Blizzard or Jeff Kaplan for the lack of added content in the 2019 Summer Games event, but all of a sudden, they're praising Blizzard and praising Jeff Kaplan for adding role queue in competitive. Don't think I didn't catch you slipping, alright? I didn't forget. But, unlike you brats, I was extremely appreciative of the 2019 Summer Games event and role queue in competitive, and I'm so glad that they brought role queue. But did it fix Overwatch? Did it fix all the problems, and is Overwatch now the perfect competitive game? That is the question I want to answer in today's video, because role queue in Overwatch was a feature that so many people were asking for, but we had to wait an extremely long time, especially when the GOATS meta was prevalent. This was something everybody was crying for, not only to fix the toxicity problem or the stubbornness of Overwatch players that didn't want to play GOATS, but also to fix the GOATS problem. And this role queue system fixes so many issues, but that's not to say it doesn't have its own issues to begin with. But the thing is though, the problems that you think would arise from role queue kind of solves itself in this new system, which if you guys don't know how role queue works or how this new system works, basically it's only available on PTR right now, but when you load up PTR, you're able to play competitive with this new role queue system. And here you're able to tell the game, I only want to play DPS heroes, I only want to play support, or I only want to play tank. And depending on what role you do queue for, that will determine the time that you do find games. Typically tanks find games a lot faster than DPS or support, but say I wanted to tell the game I only want to play DPS heroes. Well, it's probably going to take me anywhere from like 3 to 7 minutes to find a game because there are more DPS players queuing up for the game. But as soon as I get into a game, I will be able to play DPS heroes, but only DPS heroes because that was the role I queued for. I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but I just wanted to explain for everyone that didn't know. Now, even though in that example I said I was strictly only going to queue up for DPS, that doesn't mean you can't be a little bit more flexible because you can queue up for, say, DPS and support. However, when you do find a game, you will be locked into one role. More than likely the support role because more players do want to play DPS, and even though you said you do want to play DPS and support, you can only play one of those roles. You can't just swap between Mercy and then Soldier 76. Nuh-uh. That's not how it works anymore. It's a 2-2-2 comp, and you have to be dedicated to that support role. Now, clearly this solves the problem of stubborn Overwatch players not wanting to switch or not wanting to play a specific role. How many times have you had 5 DPS and 1 to everybody? Everybody has had that situation. That is never, ever, ever, ever going to happen anymore. And just by saying those words, it makes me feel so stress-free because I know the competitive experience in Overwatch will just be 10 times better. Now, yes, we are in the honeymoon stage, which means that any feature added to Overwatch that's supposed to make the game better will obviously be the greatest thing of all time. That's how the looking for goof feature was. Nobody really uses it, but at least here, we're all forced to use this new feature, and we're all forced to reap the better experience, the better organized experience in Overwatch, knowing that we're guaranteed 2 healers, 2 tanks, and 2 DPS. But this is where the one and really only problem starts to arise from role queue that again solves itself in this new system, because this means anybody can queue up for DPS. This means a Moira main, a Winston main, a Hanzo main, anybody that wants to play DPS can guarantee themselves to play DPS if they're willing to wait anywhere from 3 to maybe even 25 minutes, but if they find a game and they're locked into that DPS role, they might not be good. They might not have the skill to aim, they might not know the role of any of these DPS heroes, they just wanted to queue for DPS. They've been playing healer all their lives, but no more, because now they're a DPS main and they just got on your team and you're upset because they don't know how to play DPS. So how does this problem solve itself? With 3 different ranking systems. Now you're going to have 5 placements for each of the roles, and depending on how good you do or how good you are in that role, you're going to get a rank for your tank play, for your DPS play, and your support play. So let's say you are a Grandmaster Lucio player, you've been playing Lucio for years, but you feel like playing DPS today. So you queue up, you play your placements, and you're gonna get a separate DPS rank away from your support rank. And again, depending on how good you do, which again, if you're a Lucio player typically, and you don't ever play DPS, more than likely, you're gonna do a little bit worse, and you might place, say, in Diamond. But this is where the problem solves itself, because if that same Lucio player that typically plays Lucio queues up for DPS again, they're going to be playing with other Diamond players. Not other Grandmaster players. If he wanted to play with Grandmaster players, he would play as Lucio and queue up for support. But since he wants to play DPS, he will play with other Diamond tanks and other Diamond support players. This will be extremely messy at the beginning, I will not lie, because you're going to get a bunch of people playing roles that they don't normally play, plus you also have 5 placements with each of the new roles. So even though you might be the greatest DPS player in Platinum, you might get a few Master support players playing tank in your game. But after a couple of weeks and after a couple of matches, it will iron itself out, especially after the competitive beta. There will be a competitive role queue beta that takes place on August 13th through September 1st, which will be the closest thing ever to an SR reset, because we have to get a new SR rank for our tank play, for our offense play, and our support play. This isn't a hard SR reset, however, because your MMR has been being tracked by Blizzard for the past couple of months. So just because you're a bronze player and you win all 5 games in tank doesn't mean you're going to be a Grandmaster tank player, because your hidden SR has been being tracked, like I mentioned before. So you're still probably going to be placed around silver or bronze, or heck, if you're an amazing tank player, maybe gold, but you won't jump up to Grandmaster. Now, even though I've been explaining how role queue works in a sense, just for anyone that doesn't know how this new system works, I want to put a bigger emphasis on why Overwatch really needed this and the success that comes about this new system, because I truly believe this saved Overwatch. I truly believe this not only saved the Overwatch League, but also just saved our own competitive experience. And this was something that a lot of people were questioning, like, are we going to get 2-2-2 locked in compositions? Are we going to get that feature that the Overwatch League is going to get? And sure enough, on the same day, it dropped for everybody in the Overwatch universe. There will be some people that are disappointed because now they can't switch between tanks and healers or DPS or whatnot, but in my personal opinion, yes, while that might suck in the time, this will be a long-lasting effect that will make your competitive experience way better, because this fixes imperfect humans and their stubbornness of not wanting to compromise with the game or with their teammates. Now they're forced to compromise with something that is clearly needed, which is at least one tank and at least one support. Here, now we're forced to play with 2 healers and 2 tanks. Yes, we all want to play the DPS heroes. You can wait and guarantee yourself to play the DPS role. It might be a little bit longer, but what would you rather want? A competitive system where you're free to pick any hero that you want, but everybody else is also free, so everybody picks DPS. Nobody is picking the role that is supposed to be played, which is a tank and a healer, or a system where you might have to wait a little bit longer to be able to guarantee yourself to play that role, which is more than likely DPS, but you're able to not only pick your DPS hero, but you're also guaranteed 2 healers and 2 tanks, and all you had to do was wait a couple of extra minutes to be able to play the role that you're most comfortable along with everybody else that is queuing up for tank and healer. I'll take that system, please. I'll take 5 of those systems. Plus, another thing that you need to realize is that some players might not be good tank players or might not be good support players, but this system makes sure that everybody is on the same level. I'm not a good tank. I'll be the first one to say I am a terrible tank, but if I do queue up for a tank and I'm a platinum tank, I'm going to be playing with other platinum players, not be playing in the same master rank or grandmaster rank that I typically would be playing if I was playing DPS or support. So with role queue, you get to play the hero role that you want to play. You're guaranteed a 2-2-2 team comp with guaranteed healers and tanks, and you also get an even playing field with everybody playing the role that they're comfortable with at the level that they should be. Me, as a bad tank player, I will still play at the level that we're at because that's my rank as a tank player. Again, this solves so many problems and it doesn't really create a lot of problems. The only thing that I can foresee that I even experience in my own games are the times where you might need a Mei on defense on a Moore, or you might need a hit scan, but you're locked into the tank role. But you're a soldier player, or you're a Mei player, but the Reaper doesn't want to switch off. So that's the times that I can see this being a problem, but that's just one problem in comparison of the 5 problems that would come about when people have the freedom to pick any hero that they want. So while yes, it sucks that you're a soldier player and you need a hit scan and the Reaper won't switch on to soldier, this means that you as the tank player on the team have to be a little bit more versatile. And this will be something that everybody will run into and realize internally finally it's like, wow, I can't just play the Winston. I have to play the D.Va in the times where we don't have a hit scan so I can put pressure on the Pharah. While in that time, it might seem like a dice roll not knowing if your DPS player will be versatile with all the DPS heroes. I'll take that compared to how competitive it is now, because you might not even get a tank. It's a dice roll if you'll get somewhat of a competent team comp. At least this way, guaranteed 2-2-2 of everybody at the same skill level. So even though they might suck on the DPS role, well, they're a DPS player at your same skill level. So what does that say about your skill rank? Even though role queue will create its own problems, it'll be minuscule compared to what the problems are nowadays. So I'm very excited for role queue and competitive. But not quick play. Blizzard, please do not add this to regular quick play. I know you have classic quick play in the arcade, but it's called quick play for a reason. I don't want to have to wait 5 to 10 minutes just to play DPS, just like everybody else. But other than that, I love role queue because this saved Overwatch. But I want to know what you think. What do you think about role queue? Do you think it saved Overwatch, or do you think it will cause bigger problems? I would like to know. I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. More Overwatch videos to come, and bye.